Hey guys, welcome back to Genealogy and Chronology. Today we will be discussing about the complete genealogical history of the Bahmani Sultanate, which ruled over present-day Telangana, Maharashtra and northern Karnataka regions between 14th and 16th century. Please consider subscribing to my channel as I will be discussing more about genealogies and history of Indian royal houses in coming weeks. Before we start discussing about the eventual rise of the Bahmani Sultanate, we will first take a look at what was the state of Indian subcontinent in early 14th century. After the fall of Khilji dynasty, the rule of Indian subcontinent fell into the hands of Tughlaq dynasty in the year 1320. The history of Bahmani starts with Zafar Khan, who was a nobleman in the service of Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He tried to rebel in 1339, but his initial plot was unsuccessful. He later participated in the siege of Gulbarga in 1346, following which he was made the governor of Deccan, and a year later, he was made the commander of the army stationed at Daulatabad. In 1347, another nobleman by the name Nasiruddin Ismail Shah rebelled against the Tughlaqs, and this rebellion turned out to be successful. Nasiruddin stepped down in favor of Zafar Khan, and thus in the year 1347, Zafar Khan established the Bahmani Sultanate and assumed the title Alauddin Muhammad Shah. This was the first time an independent Muslim monarch was ruling any part of the Deccan. Bahmani Sultanate rose to prominence within the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq of the Delhi Sultanate. Muhammad bin Tughlaq is remembered for his decision to change the capital of his kingdom from Delhi to Daulatabad and back again to Delhi. The Muslim nobility and elite were ordered to move to Daulatabad, which made it a new hub where people from all walks of life gathered. Although this decision was unpopular among the Muslim elite, one impact of this decision was that the Islamic rule in Deccan lasted centuries longer than the Delhi's own unstable authority over the south. If not for Tughlaq's creation of a Muslim elite at Daulatabad, there would have been no stable Muslim power like the Bahmani Sultanate to check the rising power of the Vijayanagar Empire. Even after its downfall, Bahmani Sultanate fragmented into 5 Deccan Sultanates, which for a period of time stood against the mighty Mughal Empire. Coming back to Zafar Khan, he established his seat at Gulbarga, which at that time was known as Hasanabad. Assuming the throne, his first campaign was against Warangal, and he annexed much of Telangana into his kingdom. Much of Bahmani Sultanate's history is filled with constant wars with Vijayanagar Empire, which started right from the reign of Alauddin Muhammad Shah. By the time of his death, the kingdom stretched from north to south, from the river Venganga to river Krishna, and east to west from Bhongir to Daulatabad. After reigning for 9 years, Alauddin Muhammad Shah passed away in the year 1358 and was succeeded by his son Muhammad Shah I as the second Sultan of Bahmani Sultanate. Muhammad Shah I continued the campaigns of his father and was at constant wars with the Vijayanagar Empire in south and with Warangal in east. Muhammad Shah reigned for 17 years and passed away in 1375. He was succeeded by his son Mujahid Shah as the third Sultan of the Bahmani Sultanate. Mujahid Shah's reign lasted only 3 years and he was killed by his cousin Dawood Shah in 1378 because of old enmity between the cousins. Dawood Shah became fourth Sultan of Bahmani Sultanate, but his reign was very short. Ru Parwa, who was sister of Mujahid Shah, avenged the death of her brother by having Dawood Shah killed. She also blinded the son of Dawood and made her cousin Muhammad Shah as the fifth Sultan of Bahmani Sultanate. Muhammad Shah's rule lasted for 19 years. Many historians consider his reign as the most peaceful period of the Bahmanis. Muhammad Shah II passed away in 1397, and as per his will, his son Ghiyasuddin succeeded as the sixth Sultan of the Bahmani Sultanate. After Muhammad Shah, the Bahmani court saw a split between the old nobility and the new officials who came from Turkey and Persia, working under the sultans. One such person was Taghalcin, who headed the Turkish faction, and he was eyeing for the position of Prime Minister. But Sultan Ghiyasuddin did not consider him capable of that position in front of the whole court. Feeling that he was disrespected by the Sultan, Taghalcin blinded the Sultan and dethroned him, and placed his stepbrother Shamshuddin Daud II on the throne as the seventh Sultan. Shamshuddin was all but a puppet Sultan under Taghalcin. Thus, Tajuddin Feroz and Shehabuddin Ahmad rebelled, and Feroz Shah himself killed Taghalcin, whereas Shamshuddin Dawood was blinded and exiled to Mecca. The kingdom saw the reign of 4 sultans in the year 1397. Lastly, brother-in-law and cousin of Shamshuddin, Feroz Shah, ascended the throne as the 8th Sultan of the Bahmani Sultanate. Some historians narrate that Tajuddin Feroz Shah and Shehabuddin Ahmad I may have been the sons of Dawood I, that is the 4th Sultan. I personally believe that they were not the sons of the Dawood I, because when Ru Parwa plotted and killed Dawood I, she also blinded the 9-year-old son of Dawood I. It makes no sense why she would leave 2 sons of Dawood unharmed while blinding 9-year-old Sanjar. It is also important to note that Muhammad Shah II married both his daughters to brothers Tajuddin and Shihabuddin, but it is unclear whether Prince Mubarak and Sultan Ahmad II were born to daughters of Muhammad Shah II. Feroz Shah's rule is among the most notable reigns from the Bahmani Sultanate. He defeated Vijayanagar Empire twice during his reign and married the daughter of Vijayanagar king Devaraya I. After reigning for 25 long years, Feroz Shah abdicated in favor of his brother Shihabuddin Ahmad I, who became the ninth Sultan of Bahmani Sultanate. Shihabuddin Ahmad I moved the capital of the Bahmani Sultanate from Gulbarga to Bidar around the year 1425. Ahmad I's reign lasted 14 years, and with his death in 1436, his son Alauddin Ahmad II became 10th Sultan of Bahmani Sultanate. Ahmad II's reign was also fairly stable and peaceful, and after reigning for 22 years, Ahmad II passed away in year 1458 and was succeeded by his son Humayun Shah as the 11th Sultan of the Bahmani Sultanate. It was during the reign of Humayun Shah that the famous Mahmud Gawan entered into the service of the Sultan. Mahmud Gawan was a skilled administrator and military general. Humayun's reign lasted only 3 years, following which his son Nizamuddin Ahmad III became 12th Sultan of the Bahmani Sultanate in the year 1461. Ahmad III's reign was also of only 2 years. He was succeeded by his brother Muhammad III as the 13th Sultan of the Bahmani Sultanate in the year 1463. In 1481, Mahmud Gawan was executed by Sultan Muhammad III because of conspiracy planned by nobles in the court who did not like Mahmud Gawan. Incidentally, Muhammad III himself passed away within few months after ordering Mahmud Gawan's execution. He was succeeded by his son Shamsuddin Mahmud, who became the 14th Sultan in 1482. Mahmud would reign for more than 25 years, but his rule was all but gradual decline of the Bahmanis. He would be the last Sultan to hold some level of autonomy. Much of the authority now lay in the hands of Qasim Barid, who became Prime Minister of the kingdom, and the governors of the kingdom more or less started exerting their power over their fiefdoms. Nonetheless, neither Qasim Barid nor any governor ever tried to remove Sultan Mahmud because the respect and love for the Sultan did not yet fade away from the hearts of the people. It took decades for the glory of the Bahmani Sultanate to fade away. In 1490, the governors of Ahmednagar, Berar and Bijapur broke away from the Bahmani Sultanate and declared independence. Bidar itself was more or less in the hands of Qasim Barid, who wielded all power in the court. Only Sultan Quli, who was Tarafdar of Golconda, stayed loyal to Sultan Mahmud. In 1518, Shamsuddin Mahmud passed away. Following his death, Sultan Quli also declared independence. Qasim Barid passed away in the year 1504, and now his son Amir Barid started to look over his father's affairs and started to appoint puppet sultans on the throne. Sultan Mahmud was succeeded by Ahmad IV as the 15th Sultan of the Bahmani Sultanate. Unfortunately, Ahmad IV's reign lasted only 2 years, and in 1520 his son Alauddin II was made the 16th Sultan of Bahmani Sultanate. Sultan Alauddin Bahman Shah II wanted to bring reforms to the Bahmani court and bring back the glory of the old days. He tried to conspire and kill Amir Barid and his allies, but his plan was leaked out, and in 1523 Sultan Alauddin Bahman Shah II was dethroned by Amir Barid, and his uncle Waliullah was made the 17th Sultan of the Bahmani Sultanate. In 1526, Sultan Waliullah was poisoned and his younger brother Kalimullah was made the 18th Sultan of Bahmani Sultanate. Kalimullah's reign saw the onset of the Mughals in India. Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi and established the Mughal dynasty. Kalimullah wrote to Babur offering not only his allegiance but also Berar and Daulatabad, the provinces which were no longer under his control. This letter never reached Babur but instead was leaked to Amir Barid. Kalimullah fled to Bijapur and later to Ahmednagar in 1527. He lived the next 10 years at Ahmednagar, after which he either died a natural death or was poisoned. His son Ilhamullah exiled himself to Mecca. Bidar became now an independent entity of the Barid Shahis. This concludes the glorious 180 years of the Bahmani rule, which countered Vijayanagar Empire and paved way for formation of 5 more sultanates which stood against the mighty Mughals for at least a period of time. The tombs of first 8 sultans of Bahmani Sultanate lie in Haft Gumbaz complex of Gulbarga, and the remaining tombs of the later sultans are present in the Bahmani Tombs necropolis in Bidar. The tombs, forts and monuments from this era are added to the tentative list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I hope you all liked this complete overview of the royal house of the Bahmani Sultanate. You can also check out my other videos on the Asaf Jahis and Qutub Shahis of Hyderabad. Consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel, as I will be going to make more videos on Indian royal houses in coming days. I am also trying to work on many medieval Indian dynasties. If you want a hard copy of this chart and you live within India, please reach out to me. If you like my work, please consider supporting me on Patreon, or you can buy me a coffee. Thank you.